But I think the main things is at the end of the day, volleyball is volleyball. It's in the same 9x9 court, and the rules are the same. So we. Is that on the back of your shirt?
Yeah, it's on the back of the shirt.
You did. A little free shout out for you. And it doesn't matter who's on the other side of the net. You need to still execute to the best of your ability if you want a chance to win.
All right, there's a 30-second delay, so we were under 5:02. So suck it, all of you. Welcome back to episode 135 of the 81 square meters of the best volleyball on the internet. My name is Everett Delorme in Toronto. That is Rob St. Clair in Chicago. And suck it. I feel like I could be worse, but we are back here to chat about some volleyball. It has been another week of volleyball. I wouldn't have said it's a great week. We've had some decent matches, but nothing overwhelming. Just a lot of it.
A lot of it. Don't worry. We'll get into all of it. Yeah. Welcome to the 9x9 boys and girls. Happy American Thanksgiving to those of you who in my country, or I don't know, there are Americans playing volleyball over in Europe who I know are getting their whole teams together for big American Thanksgiving dinners. And I think that's cool. I always like seeing photos of that. So happy Thanksgiving to you all. In that spirit, I have two takes I need to get out there. The first is that I'll speak for Everett. We are very thankful for all of you that are watching this very show. Even though you
not shape shifting,
even though you chirp us in the chat, trust me, you don't think we know exactly what we're doing with timing when we go live. You think that we leave the intro screen for several minutes to accumulate viewers. If we start the show immediately upon going live, none of you would catch it. We know what we're doing with YouTube. Either way, we appreciate all of you very much. The community that watches this show on this channel, the Volleyball Source Discord community, y'all are incredible. You enhance our experiences of consuming volleyball, and we hope that we do a little bit of the same for you. So thank you very much for all of that, and keep hanging out with us.
Getting all sentimental over there on Thanksgiving.
The other take I want to get
or like we like to call fake Thanksgiving.
Everything that we do is real. Everything that you do is
ours came first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and ours is actually at the end of the harvest in October, unlike your fake Thanksgiving in November, which is just like literally like, how do we add another holiday before Christmas?
Yeah, it's genius. It's at the exact perfect time, and everything that we do is better than everything everyone else in the world does. So deal with it. The other thing I have to actually, I want your take on this. What do Canadians eat on Thanksgiving and your Thanksgiving in October?
Once again, you stole our Thanksgiving.
Is it the same meal?
More or less. Like we don't do like yams aren't that big of a thing here. You know, like
had yams in my life.
No, it's definitely like turkey or ham, mashed potatoes, some sort of like roasted veggie dish. Weirdly enough, my family always did Jell-O. I don't know why.
My grandfather used to do that.
I think it's like it came from the prairies. They used to do like red Jell-O, which red Jell-O. At the end, I would always get like red Jell-O and like mashed potatoes kind of mixed together, and like I won't lie, kind of slapped. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty basic stuff. It's supposed to represent when some of the first French settlers came and stayed over the first winters, and it was an actual harmonious situation with the indigenous, and then the English people came and messed that all up.
Well, our Thanksgiving meal is very similar, and the take I wanted to get out there is one that like my family knows, my very close friends know, but the world needs to know. I hate the Thanksgiving meal.
Why?
I don't like I like almost none of the ingredients of the Thanksgiving meal. Almost all of it.
But they're all just like staple ingredients.
So turkey is not good. It's just not good. It's really, really dry and really flavorless, and there's just nothing going on with it that I like. I am a huge hater of mashed potatoes. I hate mashed potatoes.
Okay, Pat McAfee. Okay,
I've always hated them.
I love that. You're just not making good mashed potatoes.
No, the texture, can't do it. Can't do it. No, never have done it. Never will do it.
The best thing about mashed potatoes too, and this is actually a scientific fact, potatoes get healthier for you the more you eat them. In terms of like if you reheat potatoes, they're better for you. Something about the starch the next day. Look it up. This is real. Well, so the best thing about mashed potatoes, first of all, when you're like mashing them up, when you're boiling them in, you add cloves of garlic, and then when you're mashing up, the garlic goes into potatoes, and then you add a little salt, a little pepper, a little Parmesan cheese in there, bro. But then the next morning after you have mashed potatoes, you throw that on the grill, right on the frying pan with a little bit of butter. You fry your mashed potatoes, put an egg on there. Holy shit. That's the good stuff.
Well, I'm happy for you, but more for you because I think mashed
Thank you,
potatoes are
Luke.
horrendous. Gravy, terrible. Stuffing that we have on American Thanksgiving is the worst thing I've
It sounds
ever
like
had,
it
ever.
sounds like your
So
family
bad.
is just bad at cooking.
No, my family is tremendous at cooking. All of my family loves the Thanksgiving meal. I just hate it. I'll get bread, mac and cheese if that's an option. Absolutely.
Oh, so mac and cheese isn't really a Canadian thing, I'd say.
It's like it's maybe 50-50, but I'm all about mac and cheese. Obviously, what's not to like? Cranberry sauce I can do a little bit. Depends on the veggie. Some of them I'll do, some of them I won't. And then all the desserts, I'm all about it. But the rest of the Thanksgiving meal, all the traditional stuff, I hate it. I won't do it. So that's my take. More for the rest of you if you are celebrating American Thanksgiving, but it's not a day that I look forward to as far as the meal is concerned.
When do you guys do your Thanksgiving?
Depends on where we are. Tomorrow I'm going to be at my wife's parents' house. We're probably going to do it at maybe 3 p.m. ish. It's definitely like a very late lunch or a very early dinner situation.
I feel like Canadian Thanksgiving can also be kind of whenever. We never do it the Thursday because like we get the Monday off. So your Thanksgiving dinner is usually like sometimes Monday, but usually like just in that weekend. But I don't know. In my family, it's more of a depending on to what side we're on, but it's more of a like you eat all day and then you crush food late at night.
Yeah,
like,
the leftovers. Yeah, late night.
No, like your dinner. Like on my mom's side, we would be like starting dinner at like 8 or 9 p.m.
Oh man.
But we've also been like eating and drinking all day since like noon.
Yeah, so we'll get there tomorrow. It'll be a good day, especially because the Packers play tomorrow night. So I'm looking forward to that.
Who are they playing?
Miami at home. It'll be
Miami
cold.
sucks right now.
They'll be real uncomfortable. I'm looking forward to it. But enough about that. We have volleyball to talk about. I knew the chat would be pissed off. The Americans or the Canadians or whoever eats Thanksgiving. Nobody agrees with me.
This is a perfect movie idea. There's going to be one time where I'm going to cook us dinner and I'm going to cook you a full Thanksgiving dinner.
I'll try all of it. I will try all of it because I will try anything. But I'll be straight up with you if I don't like it. And I hate mashed potatoes and stuffing and gravy all very much.
No, it's just going to be an entire movie or video making fun of Rob.
Hating the Thanksgiving meal.
He's so white bread. He doesn't even like the whitest bread meal ever.
It's because I like better and more cultured and more flavorful things than dry ass turkey. Get out of here.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Volleyball, Everett. There's yeah. What's that? I've never heard of it. There's volleyball that's happened. First of all, where I wanted to start off is a big piece of news. It's the return of Laurent Tillie to the national team coaching circuit, and it is not for his native France. It's for Japan. Japan sees one French coach in Philippe Blain walk out the door and another, maybe even, well, not arguably, definitely better coach who's won an Olympic gold medal in Laurent Tillie walk in the door to coach the Japanese men's national team through the 2028 Olympic Games. Everett, this was shocking news to me. Laurent is currently coaching Osaka Blue Dion in the SV League, so he's in Japan right now. I don't know what the deal is with like the mutual exclusivity of the contracts, if he's going to be able to do both, but I think it's obvious, at least in my opinion, that this is a home run hire for Japan. And I am terrified of how good Japan could get under the leadership of this man.
I mean, it makes sense on so many levels. First and foremost, you're going out and getting another French coach. So you're staying within that same style and that same more or less philosophy that the French have. But in like nothing against Philippe Blain, I think he's done a fantastic job with this team. And really, like, people don't realize that part of the reason why we make fun of Japan is because Japan in the 2010s was an easy bucket.
Oh, they were
Japan on the schedule was
you pencil in a 3-dong.
Absolutely, 100%.
Same as China and Korea.
And I'm talking about. I mean, I think I was more scared. China was the better of them, and there was at times there too was Korea where it was legit as well. But coming from a Canadian team back then that wasn't as good as it is now or has been, Japan was an absolute bucket. So I think there's a lot of credit that goes to Philippe Blain in that process. Also the athletes that they've gotten in all of these other things. But
for sure,
going out and getting an Olympic champion, someone who knows how to both build a team and a culture and to deal with egos. And I don't think that Japan has a lot of egos, but it does have stars, right?
Right.
And that's one thing that we're learning now is that the SV League is getting more and more open, that like some of these Japanese players are legitimate stars in Japan. So I think when you're looking at a team like that's going to probably get the most media attention in the world and really be on the forefront of that, I love this hire in so many ways. It's clear to me that it doesn't surprise me that much. Like, it makes a lot of sense too if you're Japan, because Tillie has been coaching there for a little bit as well, right? Like, this isn't his first season. And you know what? It's probably a different situation coming from, I don't really know much about the Japanese Federation, but I'd assume that you kind of get there and you're given a lot more than you would with others, right? So like this, like, and I'm sure the money is really good too. So
Oh yeah,
absolutely, this is a massive pick. He's already working with so many of their stars, and Nishida is playing for him, and who else is on that team? I mean, I know
Like,
Osaka's got like
as
legit,
far as
but
national team guys, I don't know. Is Yamamoto there? Let me look up at the roster about the Japanese players.
Tomohiro's the libero.
Okay, yeah. That's the national team starter. Yamauchi's there. He's the national team starter. So you've got three.
Yeah.
That Iroh kid who's taller but less skilled that everyone likes to make fun of. He's their setter. I mean, he's honestly a decent piece, especially under Laurent Tillie. So Tillie's been at this club, the Panasonic Panthers, now Osaka Blue Dion, since post-pandemic. So like as soon as he retired from the French national team after the Olympic gold in Tokyo, he basically just stayed in Japan ever since. So the knowing Japanese culture, having been in there for a little while, is important, I think. And
then this definitely isn't a random hire.
This is not random at all.
This is definitely something that they've gone after for a while. And you know what? There was a lot of talk as to why Japan let Philip Blaine leave so easily, right? Because his contract was up, and it's like they didn't even negotiate his contract. Maybe this is why. Right? Like, if you have Philip Blaine there, when it's just like, hey, look, we're doing pretty good right now, but we have Laurent Tillie here. He's won an Olympic championship, and he's, sitting in our back door. Like, what could happen if we brought him on board? So
yeah, the way I think of it is Philip Blaine was the perfect coach to get Japan from 0% to 90% of like Olympic podium contender. And I'd say they are 90% of an Olympic podium contender right now. Not 100. But the guy to get you from that 90 to that 100 could very well be Laurent Tillie. I think he's
done it before.
He's done it before. And like you said, it's not even just the X's and O's, because Japan is Japan and their style is very unique. However, I mean, France is the closest national team in the world to playing Japan's style. But
stylistically, it makes a lot of sense.
Yes. I think, though, but like you said earlier, is the off the court management and the psychology and the maximizing of every little ounce of what you have is where Laurent Tillie is really the perfect fit. Because like you said, those Japanese players are straight up celebrities. And we're not just talking about like the Instagram coverage that they get, that we like to make fun of on this show. Like, they're walking around in Japan like legitimate celebrities on the streets. Like, it is a big deal. And dealing with that and helping to get the most out of a national team like that, and then just structure the whole Olympic cycle, it's going to be an interesting process for every team. I think it's a phenomenal hire, and I am legitimately afraid of what Japan could do under Laurent Tillie. If they're already good, they're already scary, way more than they ever used to be. What could happen now?
No, I just like it. Just bringing more teams legitimate into the fold.
Yep.
Addressing the chat on a few notes. We know that Nishida isn't playing next year, but it says through to the 2028 LA Olympics. Next year next year is the fun year. Next year is the write-off year. You think any superstars are playing next year? You don't understand how this works. Maybe the World Championship, definitely maybe. Not the BNL. Yeah, I would expect certain players. I don't know who, but there's some of the stars who won't even play World Championships this year.
I agree, and I would not if I were them. No. I think putting a World Championship the year after the Olympics is stupid for that reason.
Well, now we got a World Championship every 2 years, so
which is stupid. But that's a conversation for later. We'll actually talk about the World Championship a little bit later on the show. But like, we're talking about the entire quad. We're not talking about next year. I don't care about next year. The results from next year don't matter to me.
No, results absolutely not.
No.
But what you can do going in and bringing in Laurent Tillie and having him start with that team from the beginning, that's awesome.
Yeah, national team coaching hires are made in 4-year periods, unless you're Canada. But
do we not have anything for that?
Oh no, I guess we don't. I mean, I forgot that happened since our last show. I mean, you ranted about it on TikTok, you ranted about it in Discord, but speaking of Canadian coaches, Tuomas Samelvuo is out. Everett, your voice is you're pretty clear and consistent on this topic, but let the people know your thoughts on Canada going through yet another head coaching search.
Go back to when Benjo was fired and just say, I told you so, because I fucking called it. I fucking called it. And as I said on TikTok, this has no slight whatsoever to head coach Tuomas Samelvuo. This is no ill will, or there's no negative like vibes from me on that sense. You know, like he came in, he exceeded expectations. He
performed a miracle in 2 years.
He did what we all thought really wasn't possible, and he did it in a great way. Like he, time and time again, we've shown that like this team can be successful and this team can be good. But it is the reality that, you know, like it is tough, especially as a European coach, to coach in Canada. It's far from Europe. Travel is long, and you don't make enough money to really justify it, right? And you know, I had people message me after and be like, no, actually, he did want to spend more time with his daughter. I have no doubt he wants to. Of course he wants to. Everyone wants to. Everyone wants to spend more time with their family. But you're not telling me that if we had more money to pay him, if that travel wasn't dog shit and we're, you know, it's on the worst of economy flights and a numerous amount of reasons, that it wouldn't be a little bit different. So yeah, like once again, like no, like he did a tremendous job, and I think he made a choice and decision that makes sense for him. But
for sure,
you're not telling me that if another country in Europe, presumably like because he's going to be sought after now, reaches out to him, that he's not going to take it. Like he's not going to be about turning down jobs, but it just leaves Canada in the exact same spot we were 2 years ago. And now we're a country almost like Iran, where like we're just searching for this moment of glory with these coaches that don't necessarily want to be here. Not that they don't want to be here, but they don't necessarily want to be here long term.
Because so, like, Volleyball Canada, I think the moral of the story is that Volleyball Canada does not put forth enough resources to attract and keep great coaching talent.
Without a doubt. And like at the end of the day, that's because Volleyball Canada doesn't operate like a business, right? They operate like a non-for-profit that gets money from the government, right? Because that's what they do. Everything they do is geared towards appeasing the government and getting that funding, which is fantastic. Right? It's more than they had a decade ago. It's more than they had 15 years ago. There's another side of that too. If you want to be able to operate in these international spaces and actually compete, and they don't do that, right? Like we go on into the commercial side of it all, which is frankly terrible for a number of reasons. And yet like, that's why we don't have money for this kind of stuff. So we went and chased away, arguably, and I'm going to put my opinion here, we went and chased away the best coach in the country. And I know some people will fight against that, but like, just look at it. All of a sudden, like it, yeah, like what is next? What is the plan? And this is my very big problem with Volleyball Canada in general, is that there is no plan.
Nope.
There is no conceivable plan other than how do we get to the next Olympics? Because I will tell you this, I know for a fact that Ben Josephson was told that he was planning towards 2028, and that was given his mandate, is that you were being brought in to build towards 2028. And then they pulled out the rug under him because he wasn't in less than a year, because he wasn't performing for 2024. So yeah, like it just comes down once again to I think mismanagement at the NSO level, at the Volleyball Canada level. And once again, I don't think that there was anything like poor, like overly bad that happened. Like there's nothing like, I wouldn't say like terrible about all of this, but it's like, where are we going?
Yeah.
What are we doing with this? Like, are we probably just going to go back to Hogue again?
Again?
And he was with the B team last
Oh
year.
my goodness.
And like, yeah, he was in good spirits and stuff like that. And like, once again, Arcus is going down, so he's definitely looking for a job. So like, that's not a terrible thing, right? But
my personal opinion is that it would be absolutely insane not to put Dan Lewis at the top of that list. It would be crazy not to put Dan Lewis at the top of that list. But
I mean,
I don't know the scene as much as
I love Dan Lewis. Don't get me wrong. Like, and do I see him as the head coach of the national team one day? Yeah, maybe. Like, it's a very real possibility. But we're talking about a guy who's being a head coach in the professional level for the first time this year.
So you would rather have a guy who's been doing it for 40 years and on his third different stint? Like, I don't think that's a very good move to hire somebody for an Olympic Games. It's 4 years from now. Bring back a guy who's retired twice.
Yeah, I honestly don't. I like, and this is
Dan Lewis.
Yeah. Oh, don't trust me, but like, we're not going back that for a number of reasons. We're not going back to that. That door is closed, so we don't even need to speak of that right now.
It's like, I'm just saying, it's not like the federation's against hiring younger, less experienced coaches, because Benjo had been doing it at the U Sports level, but not above that. And
I mean, they hired Shannon Windsor, who had no experience other than some developmental teams for Australia. So
Dan Lewis.
Yeah, you know what? I don't hate Dan Lewis. I really don't. And if it were to be him, and like, if you talk about someone who's been like the heart and soul of Canadian men's volleyball now for 2 decades, Dan Lewis, for sure. Who's seen it all, who's been with it all, who's been there almost every step of the way. Dan Lewis, absolutely.
I see no arguments to the contrary. Yeah, whenever that hire gets announced, we'll cover it. Obviously, same with.
I just don't know who's next. Yeah.
Well,
Dave Preston, maybe, now that the whole Australia job blew up.
Maybe. Yeah, same thing with the American women's coaching hire, which I think it'll easily another month until that's announced. But
I wouldn't expect to hear anything until the new year.
Same, yeah, we'll cover it when it happens. All right, actual volleyball that happened this week. We need to talk about it. I wanted to start in the Lega Volley Femminile. Everett,
we've really shot the shit here for the first little bit here, guys.
Well, it's our show. We can do whatever we want.
By the way, Rob, 74% of the people in the chat think you're a stooge.
Oh, sweet. Thanks, y'all. Happy Thanksgiving to you. All right, volleyball. We finally had a legit match in the Lega Volley Femminile, at least the second one of the year, between two of the contenders that I was actually excited for. They sold it out. It was the largest crowd in Lega Volley Femminile history, I think, ever for a women's volleyball match in Italy, period, to watch a slaughter. Slaughter. Corneliano absolutely mopped the floor with Malonza. And Everett, you said on last week's show that it's okay if Malonza loses this match, and in fact you expected them to do so just to gather data about how to beat Corneliano down the line. But the manner in which they got pounded into the ground in this match, as somebody like yourself who is rooting for the field this year, surely did not look very promising, because I wouldn't even say Corneliano had their A+ level game on Friday. But this match was never competitive, not even close.
No, this one was a snooze fest, a real snooze fest. And it sucks because we had 13,000 people in attendance.
The Volleyball World CEO was there.
Yeah, Finn Taylor, my boss, technically.
Yes, he
was there. And you know what? Like, there's two sides of this, Rob, because obviously the amount of people and selling that out is a huge story. Love that. It means that there's good growth happening. The other side of it is the unfortunate side of women's club volleyball, is that it has been dominated by few teams, right? And that it kind of sucks. You know what? Like when this many people are watching the match, you want to be able to put on a good product, right? When this many eyes are on the match, because you bet your ass that it wasn't just the 13,000 people in the stadium that were watching, but there was enhanced eyes on this match. You had Agonu versus Gabi, you had Conegliano versus Milano,
you had practically the entire
Voloj
Italian
against Oro.
Yeah, the Olympic champions, basically all of them are split between these two teams. Like
100%.
Huge deal. It was the first match of women's volleyball I was legitimately excited about watching this year.
Yeah, and it turned out to be a bit of a pooper. Really wasn't great. I mean, we do have to note that Alessia Oro just got smoked in the face, and then if she was in the
so hard in the face,
if she was playing in the NCAA, you know that she was been put in a dark room for 10 minutes to see if she was been good to go. And I don't know if she would have been, because her play was erratic at best after that. And isn't like people were telling us last week that she wasn't even going to be available. So I was surprised to see her here out there regardless. And yeah, it was not pretty.
No, bad all the way around. Statistically for Malonza, very bad. They hit 120 as a team efficiency. Terrible. Agonu herself, 15 points only, 13 for 46 attacking with 8 errors. That's 109 efficiency. That's not very good at all. Obviously, she's still working her way back into like full-time game rhythm. So I'll give her a pass, but the team was just bad around her. All 3 outside hitters that saw time were bad. They even made a libero substitution, which is really bad. They made middle blocker substitutions, which is bad. It was a circus. It was a carousel. It was soul searching and nothing could be found. I mean, 20, 18, 15. This was an hour and 15-minute game in front of the biggest crowd in history. So that is just not a good look if you're Malone's. Conegliano was themselves. Hawk had 20. Christina Kirikella was really good with 10, 8 for 11 attacking. Gabi had 10. Zhuting had 9. What'd they hit as a team? Like in the 270s, 284. So good, like good, not awesome, not like 3-0 in an hour and 15 minutes caliber on offense.
Conegliano probably practiced again on Friday night. Like they probably like got back from home from Milano and they're like, you guys gonna go run a few plays.
Let's get some reps in. Put the shoes back on. This is Santarelli when they get home.
Because they were not at all pushed.
Malonza put up Zhezhov in the Champions League, a Polish team, put up a way better fight against Conegliano today than Malonza did in front of the bright lights on Friday. And we'll talk about Champions League in a minute. But yes, it's a regular season game. Yes, it's still the first half of the season. Still not looking good for the rest of the league. Not Conegliano.
I do think that on Malone's side, you have an Agonu who's been back for like one match,
right? I understand. Like she'll be
like
better.
You've got an Oro who's injured. At the end of the day, Milano just doesn't stack up on the left side. I think like Silla and Cazot don't stack up to Gabi and Zhuting. No. That's just facts.
And Dalderop has been white hot, but she was bad. I mean,
Dalderop has been one of the best players. Like I think to me, Avery Skinner and Dalderop have been the 2 best left sides in the Lega Volley Femminile this year.
Statistically, for sure. Just like
statistically, absolutely. And she was nowhere to be found on Friday. So yeah, overall, just a dominant
tough one, man. I was real excited for it. I was looking forward to it. Conegliano has now played both of the other main contenders in the Lega Volley Femminile already. 3-0, 3-0. Double dong over Scandici and Malonza.
They've only lost 2 sets this year.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It is. I made that call. I made that bet in a moment of passion, Rob, and part of me does regret it.
To take the field? It's a good bit for the show throughout the season. It's the only thing keeping me interested in this league right now, to be honest. Because here's the rest of the results. Other than this match on Friday, there was just nothing this weekend except Novara needing 18-16 in the 5th to get past Tal Masons. Who's new to the league this year. So
I mean, I think there was a pretty good one. Like I watched one between Chieri and Valfolia. That was really good. And that one, just like looking at their points here, like had Valfolia won that one, they would have been ahead of Carey in the standings, and that created a little bit of separation. So there was some pretty good battles like in the middle of the table. Busto I know they're at the bottom, but got a decent win over Roma that allowed them to kind of stay in the mix there. And to me, Rob, there's this very interesting like middle ground of all of this, and I'm going to throw Novara in there because I don't think Novara is a top 3 team in this league. I think that there's a big step down from Novara to Scandici. So like Novara, Chieri, Busto, Bergamo, Valfolia is a really, maybe even throw Pinerolo there, but I haven't really seen enough from them. But from those teams, I think it's actually those 5 teams. It's actually a pretty decently interesting race.
Interesting is a stretch. It's competitive. I struggle to be interested, to be hooked, to be like noticing what's going on in those games, because none of them have a chance to beat those top 3, which I think in the PlusLiga is a completely different story, because those teams like 4 through 6, 4 through 10 in Poland can absolutely beat the top 3 teams, can and have. So that is just a lot more compelling to me. But again, I was legitimately really excited about this Conegliano Malonza game. Yawn. Tough one struggle with volleyball, just like as a commercial product, when you have a massive match and you sell out 5 figures of people, like there's no guarantee that you're not going to get an hour in a shower. Like you would like for the time of the event is so variable based on the result that it's tough to like guarantee that the most hyped up matches going in deliver upon that and like give great entertainment. And this one did not.
It did not.
Is what it is.
Looking forward. I don't know if is there anything else we want to talk about from this week? All right. Looking forward to this upcoming weekend in the Lega Volley Femminile. There's a few interesting ones. I think Scandici against Chieri on Sunday is probably one of the more interesting ones to me. That's going to be going down at 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Yep.
Valfolia and Pinerolo are going to be matching up. That's going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern time. That'll be a battle for like 8th. A little later in the day, you have Bergamo and Milano. I don't know. Milano's been a little iffy, so maybe that may get pushed by Bergamo. And then to finish it all off at noon Eastern time, 5 or 6 p.m. in Italy, you got Novara and Conegliano. So maybe Novara will be able to push them a little bit.
3-0.
All right. I mean,
I'm calling it. That's my bet. If I'll take this, Everett. I'll take 3-0. You take any other result and you win. Any other result. Over under 0.5 sets won by Novara. I'm taking the under. All right, enough of that. Let's stay in Italy and go over to the men's side. We'll hit Women's Champions League in a little bit because it happened today. A couple actually interesting things in the Superlega this weekend. Where I wanted to start, Everett, was who graced the thumbnail of our video this week. And this is a man who I said a couple weeks ago that so far Alessandro Micheletto has been the runaway MVP in the Italian Superlega this season because he's largely kept up the ridiculous pace numbers that he was putting up last year. But there is another man who very much deserves MVP consideration through 9 matches of the season.
MVP is putting it lightly, Rob.
Nomori Keita is putting up numbers for Verona that are straight up insane.
No, they're not insane. We've never seen them before in the Super
otherworldly.
Not since I looked at it, and I didn't go back to rally points side out point scoring because like anything pre 2000s is nothing.
That's a different sport. Yeah, ignore that.
Only one time in the history of the Superlega has a player averaged more than 6 points. Only one time, and that was Namir Abdelaziz in the COVID year in 1920. Right, he averaged 6.64 points a set, which is ridiculous. And there's going to be people like, well, he didn't do it in a full year. He did it in 19 of 22 games. right? So he did it like that, but that's pretty much ridiculous. When you actually look at like what he like Namir has most of the like top tens in points per set.
That's not surprising at all.
But Nomori Keita has been averaging 7 points a set, Rob. He's averaging 24.5 points per match. His lowest total this year is 22.
And he's done it at 2 different positions. He did it on the left side for the first half of the year that's been played so far. First 3, maybe 4 games before they got enough bodies they could put him back on the right where he belongs. And 7.0 points per set on 435 attacking efficiency at 2 different positions.
I saw his attacking efficiency higher than that. I saw him he's at a 54% attacking
So
efficiency.
the Italian website doesn't include times getting blocked as subtracted for efficiency. They only include unforced errors, so you have to do the math yourself. He's hitting 435 on the year, which is unbelievable at 7 points per set.
And he's also getting fed the ball too.
For sure.
Like, everyone in the gym knows it's going to him on a team that doesn't really run the middle well because they're terrible at passing.
Horrendous at passing. So he's getting a lot of garbage balls and he is scoring at high efficiency at volume, the likes of which we've never really even seen ever. 7 points per set is inhumane. It's crazy. Like that's like a Gonu Vargas Boskovic Hawk would struggle to do that for 9 straight games. It's crazy. And this game this weekend, Luca just put it in the chat. You're right. That's what I wanted to talk about. Verona dongs Piacenza. We can talk about Piacenza later. 29 in a 3-set match in men's volleyball where none of the sets went to overtime. It was 20, 21, 18.
Yeah.
24 for 34 on offense and 5 stuff blocks.
Yeah. Namir did do 32 a few weeks ago in Japan, but it was against a lesser Japanese team, not against Piacenza.
This is against Piacenza, like probably a top 10 budget on the planet.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. And like, the way he does it is so like reckless.
I love
like the way that he plays is so reckless. He is a safeties off kind of dude and just rips away at the ball from anywhere. But like it has really been phenomenal. Like we knew this guy could score. We talked about him in the early days of this show, breaking and shattering records in Korea, which is like a good place to go break offensive records.
For sure.
It's like that's kind of been known as like, hey, if you want to be a really like if you're a straight up offensive player, Korea is a good place to play. So he did it there, but to be able to do it at this level against against some of the best players in the world is incredible.
It's remarkable. It's remarkable. And I still won't say that I like Verona's team that much, but damn it, when Keita's playing like that, it is one of the extremely rare cases where it kind of doesn't matter.
And you know what? Luca's bringing up something good in the chat, and I know you hate to talk about.
No, I'm not talking about transfers. It's November. We're not doing it.
And we're not. But there is a rumor right now that
I don't care what the rumor is. I don't care what it is.
Oh, I do. Because imagine this. Imagine Nomori Keita with Michael Christensen.
I don't care.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, let me live in this fantasy land for a second, please. This week of volleyball was boring. Like, think about that, Rob. Oh, my God. You guys should naturalize Nomori Keita. That's solving your right side woes right there. Screw Gabby Garcia. Send him back to Puerto Rico. Send him back to Puerto Rico. Go get Nomori Keita.
It is good for Keita for not playing for a national team, honestly, getting a bit of an off season. But boy, would I like to see him play at that level. He deserves more conversation as one of the best opposites on the planet. So yeah, we're not talking about transfers. It's November. Get out of here. We're not doing it. It pisses me off. We're not doing it. People are sending me Instagram DMs all over the place about confirmed transfers in the PlusLiga for next year. Stop sending me those. I don't want to hear it. It's embarrassing for the sport that we deal with this. Anyway,
it is embarrassing, but it's also reality.
It's reality, and it sucks. Verona donged Piacenza. Stephen Marr had a pulse, and nobody else did on the Piacenza side.
See, this is why like the Discord pisses me off. Everyone's like, "Oh, why Stephen Moore dropped off so much from last year? What? Like, why is he dropped off from Olympic year? Oh, I wonder. Maybe because it's after the Olympics. But also, like, bro, he leads the team in scoring, and half the time he's the only guy who looks like he's alive out there. Like this Piacenza team. Talk about dog shit to watch. This is a team that's dog shit to watch. Holy
when
crap!
they're bad, and that's 2 out of 3 games they don't get off the bus and they look like they don't want to be there. But they look nice 1 out of 3 games on paper when they come together decently well. And F.A. Mandaraja didn't play in this game. We'll give him that. But talk about 2 teams that play just kind of like a gross, visually unappealing style of volleyball, with the exception of Nomori Keita.
Like 2 of the biggest stooges in volleyball too, Stoichev and Anastasi. Just like, you know what?
Fighting for top spot.
Fighting for each other with like rusty blades. Just ugly and not fun. Like, man. Yeah. Imagine too, once this Verona team gets the Rock back full strength and full tilt.
It seems to be happening sooner than later. He's starting to start and play full matches.
That'll be gross. But
still can't pass, but they're scary. They've got a lot of scary arms.
Yeah, this Piacenza team, poorly constructed, poorly put together. Once again, it goes right back to the conversation that you hate on why, like, it's so hard to make a team when you're guessing from what the years before. So something needs to change.
And in this case, you're guessing based on 1 month. You're guessing based on the first month of the season?
Yeah.
God, what a terrible way to approach a sports organization. Unbelievable. All right. Other results in Italy. I'm going to go through these. I would like to go through these a little bit faster. Trentino donged Monza. The only thing I have from this is that Tricycle Man went 16 for 20 with no errors.
Yeah, that was filthy. That is a filthy stat line.
Absolutely automatic. And Monza, other than Arthur Schwartz, who had a pulse, was overwhelmingly bad. Ivan Zaitsev, 0% efficiency. Eric Ruhr's 0% efficiency. Luca Martilla off the bench, not very good, especially in reception. Like, Monza is a train wreck, and I don't like their roster construction. But Tricycle Man, 16 for 20.
I'm not surprised. Like, we've seen him do this. You guys have this weird ass narrative that he's not that good,
because he's not,
and yet we're not even. He just 16 for 20.
16 for 20 is 16 for 20.
16 for 20.
Yep.
That's like you can't have him as almost like a headline and be like, oh, he's that good. Like, it doesn't make sense. Give me an actual like tangible reasons why, like an actual coach's reasons why, and I will listen to you talk.
Do you want me to?
You've never been. Yes, absolutely.
So he's not overwhelmingly dynamic. He doesn't have a great arm. He doesn't have great range. He, I think, is a good mechanical blocker, but he doesn't really defend. He doesn't really serve. He just kind of hits high 85% speed shots, and sometimes that works because he's not really very error prone. That's something that I will say about Tricycle Man, is that he does a good job of not making that many errors. He's basically like taller, smarter, slightly more physical right-handed Hadrava. Better, but stylistically similar enough.
Oh my goodness.
Hadrava is way less dynamic, but Hadrava has a better arm than Tricycle Man. Tricycle Man just is like a B- level opposite in every way.
So if you were an NBA fan, you would hate Jokic. If you're an NBA fan, you would hate Jokic because you're describing like what, like, so he has to be the, you know what, like Ben Patch. By your mark, you would say Ben Patch is a better opposite than.
No, Ben Patch made way too many errors. He was way too erratic, and he wasn't consistent enough. Tricycle Man is pretty consistent.
Honestly, you're sewering him because he makes it look easy, right? He scores easy, and it's funny because I was actually putting together some highlights of him today, and like there's like you see there's like the scoring system, right? And all of his clips are all like 2 or 3 stars. They never give him more because he just makes it look so easy. But he scores with a high efficiency, and you know what? Moneyball, baby. That's all I want. So, are you a little upset? And this is unrelated, but are you a little upset that we're not going to see Gabby Garcia at all now this season? Because I think it as I think it kind of sucks. Like he went out there and actually, for his part, it absolutely sucks. I would almost like to see Gabby Garcia go out and like they would never do this because they're going to need his numbers, especially once you get into like Champions League and like playing Groto Zelina. You're not going to want to play Rich Licky, but it kind of sucks for
Trentino's not in Champions League.
Oh yeah, true. Are they? Oh yeah, they're not in anything.
They're in CEV Cup.
Oh, okay, yeah. So then Gabby Garcia can play CEV Cup for sure.
Yeah, what we've seen from Gabi so far this year has been excellent. So I'm happy with that. However much he plays is whatever. He's on Trentino. I wasn't expecting him to play very much this year. So I hope that he maximizes his opportunities, and so far he has.
I think he absolutely has.
Yep,
yeah, for sure. Anything else? Perugia.
Perugia, yeah. That's not shocking at all. Was there anything good statistical from that game? Let's see.
Not really.
Ole Plotnitsky was good. 5 aces, 14 for 29.
I mean, that's what you come to expect from the best surfer in the Superliga.
Jesus Herrera off the bench, 11 for 18.
Ooh,
4 aces.
Jesus. Okay.
Our boy.
Sanguinetti this weekend.
Popped off for Modena. That was an interesting
16 points.
16 for a middle in 4 sets is pretty big. Yeah, 12 for 15. 2 box, 2 aces.
Daddy was 7 for 7.
Damn right he was. And then that sick clip between him and DeCecco that we put out.
As soon as that happened, I was like, oh, I'm clipping that.
Here we go.
And actually, so right after, I'll send it to you. I meant to send it to you the other day, and then I literally got a phone call. But right after he gets a block, and it sounds like they say Stankovic's daddy, but they say like Gabi or something.
No.
But I need to send you the clip. It's in the Discord actually, because I was like, is this what they said? Because like someone sent it, and I like went and found it.
I will say, Modena, the club, is aware of our shenanigans surrounding Daddy Stankovic. They know. Yeah. They are very aware because every time they post something about him, I comment something related to Daddy or I DM it to them, and they always respond. But like when I got Daddy's jersey that's behind me on the wall, when Steve Marr gave us that over the summer, it's a Modena jersey. Modena was all over it on social media, so they know. They know. They did something like that in the arena. That would be unbelievable. I'll check out that clip later. Yeah, good for Modena. They put Padova in their place. DeCecco looked amazing, and so did both the middles. Bucheger pretty good as well. Well, low efficiency, but high volume. Then let's see. Cisterna beat Grotazzolina. I don't care. The last one we have to talk about, Everett. Toronto beat Lube? I'll confess I didn't watch any of this game. I was not expecting Toronto versus Lube to be competitive. I certainly did not expect for Tim Held, who sat the bench on Perugia last year, to drop 25 points. I like what happened here? Like what was this like? Was this bad Lube with like foreigner limit issues revolving the door? Like what the hell happened here?
I don't know. Maybe you had Lepke coming in off the bench, although he wasn't great at 2 for 9. I also did not watch this one. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened here for Lube. They did make a butt ton of serving errors. 27. And when Barton and Yeze is your leading error guy on the baseline, that's not good either too.
Oh, it was a reverse sweep too. Great point in the chat. Yikes. Yeah, it looks like Lube did a bunch of like middle blocker cycling late in the match because they built a roster that has massive foreign limit issues. So looks like Adis Lagumja was okay statistically. Alex Nikolov okay. Mattia Botzlo okay. I'd be interested to see the splits set by set. But Lube, you can't be losing to Toronto, dog. Can't do it. And another thing to remember is that the Club World Championship, that stupid tournament, is in like 2 weeks. And Lube is going to have to take time off to fly to Brazil and play in that thing for some reason. I don't know why they're doing that. So
Uberlandia.
Tough. All right. I think that's it for Italy. The Nomori Keita numbers were what I really wanted to talk about today because they're crazy.
It's all time.
It's crazy.
He's having statistically the best offensive season in the history of the Superliga.
I think statistically that's true.
No, that's it. There was no one who has been at scoring at this clip ever.
7 points per set is crazy. The thing too is like he's not doing that much in the serving or blocking game. Like I know he got 5 this week, but he only had 5 coming into the match before that on the season. He only has 10 aces and 10 blocks on the year. That's like approximately one per
he's
match.
Averaging like 6.2 or 6.3 kills per set.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's all offensive prowess. Crazy. Imagine if he ran with an offense that wasn't just all high balls.
My goodness. Yeah, special kid playing great ball. Good for him. All right, where do you want to go next? You want to go to Poland? Do you want to go to Women's Champions League?
No, let's go to Poland. Let's stay in with.
We will do that. You know, Everett, you know where you can watch the Polish PlusLiga before we talk about it?
Ooh. Well, and the Italian Superliga. Yeah. VBTV. Right here on VBTV. If you use the code VS10, other people were getting Black Friday codes.
I saw that.
We didn't get Black Friday code. So
I'm
gonna have to do it.
Those other people aren't literal Volleyball World employees, and they're getting better discount codes than we are. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on,
so, but honestly, once again, the product right now is really damn good.
Yeah.
Like there is not a day that you can't watch volleyball on it. Right. We have the new Volley challenge starting up tomorrow in the Philippines on the beach side. Beach Pro Tour finals next week in Doha. I don't know why I'm blanking the league names right now, but
Superliga, PlusLiga, Tauron, all of it.
If you're in Brazil, you can watch the Brazilian Superliga. So if you're ever in Brazil, VPM, you can watch the Brazilian Superliga as well. And if you're outside of America, you can watch the Big Ten as well.
Yeah, that's right. Women's NCAA tournament. I think the selection show is this coming Sunday. So we'll talk about that.
There's a big match between 2 ranked teams tonight, actually, Rob, between Oregon and your Purdue Boilermaker.
I've got Purdue 3-1 on the road on the West Coast in that one.
Okay,
I think we match up well. We've got Oregon and Washington. We've got the West Coast trip this week, and then Purdue goes home. I'm pretty sure Selection Sunday is this week, so there are already a lot of auto bids from the conferences that have been handed out. So we'll talk a little women's NCAA next week. Use the code VS10 if you want to save a little cash on your VBTV subscription. Also, we talked about him already, but keep an eye out for our hero.
Also,
legend.
Don't say it in the chat.
Yeah.
Don't say it in the chat.
No, you know how the game works. You find Daddy Stankovic as part of the Where's Daddy segment. You keep an eye out for him. You comment where he is in the main YouTube comments after the show is over. You don't put Daddy in the live chat. That is cheating. That is not how the game works. So keep an eye out for our hero, Daddy Stankovic. Last week we were praising Vera Volley Monza because they had a good week. Not so lucky for them this week, but there is Daddy in the back. And I think who's he next to? Is he next to Juan Torrena there? Yeah, next to Juan Torrena, Mosca, and blindfolded Taylor Averill. There's Daddy. So who found him? Let's see. Daddy Stankovic. Who found the man? Kimchi Mochi Bochi is somebody's name that said Daddy Stankovic in that Monza picture, LOL. Anthony Lee said Monza must have won because of Daddy powers. See, Daddy Stankovic, Daddy Averill, and literal Daddy Zaitsev. Nice. So you guys are doing a good job of keeping an eye out for Daddy. Keep it up. Make sure you put it in the main YouTube comments after the show is over when you find him. All right, Poland.
Bologna. Where do we want to start here, Rob?
I think we
I
should
feel
start
like-
chronologically, which is at the
You want-
bottom of the screen here, and the game that was, what was it, last Friday?
Friday.
I didn't even know this was on because I was watching Conegliano Malonza, and then I was scanning through the Discord, and people were talking about this potential upset brewing in the PlusLiga. I'm like, why am I watching this women's like slaughter? I'm switching over to this, and I saw the ending of Olsztyn 3-donging Luke Lublin. Huh?
Yep. You know what? Olsztyn has
Whoa.
really turned things on
They
recently.
100% have. They had a
Before this,
great week.
they pushed not Gorzov, sorry, they pushed Czestochowa, Norvid to 5. Then they pulled out a big win against Lublin, who has been a massive surprise this year, and then finished things up with a nice little 4-set win over Barcom yesterday as well.
Yeah, big week for Olsztyn. They were in relegation position, and now definitely not the case anymore. They're all the way up to 12th, so they've got they're 5 points clear of relegation zone. They're 2 positions clear. Really, really big week. The 3-0 over Lublin was absolutely enormous and really fun to watch. Like down the stretch late, went to 30-28 in the third. There were a lot of MVP awards that could have been handed out in this game. I thought Amy Tervaporti set an awesome match. He was terrific. I thought Nikola Sherzhin was terrific. He's on a heater. He had 16 points, including 4 aces. The MVP actually went to a middle blocker by the name of Pavel Cieslik. 10 for 10 with a block and an ace for 12 points. 100% efficiency in a 3-set match against 2 good middle blockers in Finn McCarthy and Alex Grozanov, who both of whom were kind of nowhere to be found on that day. Very impressive stat line. 10 for 10.
Yeah, it's kind of like early on, it just felt like Lublin was just working as such a team and just really that everyone had found their good spot. And now it just seems like there's some divisions and some fissures on that team. Like a lot is being relied on offensively from Leon and Sasak. They're not really going to the middle that much. They're not really finding that second outside position. Benny Twinstra came off the bench, was 2 for 11 with a 0% efficiency. Or no, sorry. Yeah, he did come off the bench. Like it just seemed like all of those early season vibes that had this team as the best story, the hottest team in volleyball, have really kind of just fizzled out.
Yeah, they have. I think the second outside hitter position is a big part of that. Benny Twinstra was amazing the first 6 or 7 games and then not nearly as good since. But I think this one here is just a classic case of a good team overlooking an inferior team. I think Lublin overlooked Olsztyn in this game. And I mean, they didn't start Twinstra. They didn't start Finn McCarthy. I do not know why. And then they had to, because maybe, I don't know this, maybe they thought that they could coast and that they were better than this team and that they could get away and give some guys a rest. This is Poland, man. This is the PlusLiga. You can't be doing that nonsense. So the league is too good top to bottom. Olsztyn's crowd is too good. I thought they showed out really well on a Friday night. And Lublin gets donked. And kind of not the whole league, but a lot of the league standings are flipped on their head because of that. Like Lublin's down to 4th now, where they were like far and away first in the league for the first month and a half.
What I love about this season so far, Rob, is that all of the top teams have losses to lesser teams.
Yeah.
Right? Like all of the top teams have kind of head-scratching losses, and it just shows, once again, that quality to bottom. And this is really,
Lublin's lost 3 out of their last 5.
Yeah, like Lublin, who was like, won 8 in a row to start the year, has really, really cooled off. Hasn't been as good as we've expected them to be, and like the losses to Olsztyn, to Czestochowa, and Warszawa, like what, they're not terrible. They're not, the other two aren't terrible losses, but definitely the one to. I mean, I also think that this Olsztyn team is on the up and is getting to be more towards what they were expected to be. You know what? This is a team that could make a late push to the playoffs, but man, like the playoff situation in Poland is looking busy.
That's a stretch just because of how bad of a start they got off to and just how good everybody else is. Yeah. But I agree that this is like the Olsztyn team that was meant as they were constructed earlier this year, other than Jan Hadrava, who still is putting up painfully low efficiency numbers, as you expect. But they're getting good production out of the middle. Obviously, I mean, 10 for 10 from Cieslik is amazing. Tervaporti's playing well. Sherzhen's playing great. He has to stay healthy. That's crucial. And then Moritz Karlitzek's been largely pretty good as well. Low efficiency in this Lublin game, but not totally getting served off the floor, which is good news for him. So I hope the best for Olsztyn. I've always liked that club, especially when Javier Weber was there. They have a good crowd. They seem to be a pretty good organization. Them getting relegated would have been bad for the game. So I'm enjoying seeing their sort of resurrection. And then they had to get 3 against Barcom yesterday, and they did. So that was good.
Yeah. Skipping forward to another game, Rob. Suwałki upsetting Zhedov, coming from behind. Resovia was up 2-1. Then they win 16-14 in the 5th, Rob. Honorato, 22 points. His first MVP in the PlusLiga this year. And we just talked about Samuel Vuo and him leaving Team Canada. I mean, he might be calling up Julian Boucher and be like, "Can I have that job back?" Because I don't know if he's going to have a job soon in Resovia. Last week, we thought they had maybe probably saved their season by beating Skra the way they did, and they turn around and get, losing 5 to Suwałki, and Suwałki is not Skra. Skra is much better than them. Stefan Boyer was terrible, stunk it up for 2 sets. He was 3 for 13 and negative efficiency.
Oh God, 3 for 13 with 7 errors. That's almost hard to do. How do you even do that?
Jacob Buki came in and wasn't much better. He was 12 for 28 with only a 28% efficiency. Struggling all around for Resovia. Bednor's 12 for 30. Only 1 error and didn't get blocked, and he did have 3 other blocks and an ace as well. But still, 5 different Resovia players in double digits, and yet they hit 31% efficiency as a team.
Yeah, not good enough. Not good enough. Hell of a match by Honorato, though.
Yeah,
who we really like. 22 on 16 for 29, 48% efficiency. That's nice. Bartosz Filipiak, 16, decent performance on the right side. I mean, yeah, good for Suwałki, because they were a team that was kind of flirting with the R word for a little while there, and then they got 2 wins. Although, I mean, today they went to 5 with Benzin, which is not acceptable. You shouldn't be doing that. Big win over Resovia, though. That's like the any given Sunday thing that is the PlusLiga. Like, Suwałki's been one of the more irrelevant teams this season so far. And they come out and steal a match from Resovia, who Everett, I wish it was public. I wish we knew the difference in budget. Like, I want the statistic of budget ratio. I want budget ratio. I want to know how many times you have to multiply Suwałki's budget to get to Resovia's budget.
This is what I want to know in volleyball. I want a better transfer window. I want it to make sense. I don't want the transfer window for next season to be happening in November. It just doesn't make sense.
There needs to be, somebody messaged me this the other day. There needs to be, I don't know exactly how European soccer transfers work, but it sounds like there are exactly 2 windows, one during the off season and one during mid season to bring people in.
There's a summer transfer window and there's a Christmas transfer window. And that's exactly what that's exactly what volleyball needs to do.
Perfect.
Okay. Let's figure it out. We got some smart people who watch this show. Let's figure it out. Number 2 is, let's be public about budgets.
100%. We need that.
Let's be public about budgets, mostly because I'm a nosy bitch and I want to know. And I think it makes a great story when a really small budget team wins a lot. But I guarantee you that the budget of your favorite volleyball team is way smaller than you expect. Way
Absolutely.
smaller. If you're North American, if you're European and you've grown up in that scenario, then maybe you have a better head about it. But if you're North American and your view on what professional sport looks like, it's not even close.
It's different. It's different from this.
It's a downgrade in most cases for athletes to go from the NCAA or it's a downgrade to go from U Sports. Let's not even put it up there at the NCAA level, because like you're playing for like USC or Penn State, or one of these big division schools. Like that's different. But like
in terms of like operation and resources, maybe not in terms of salary. Obviously, like we don't have the NIL ability to pay players and for NCAA volleyball. But like the resources that clubs have in Europe just to like operate and take care of players are different and oftentimes inferior to good NCAA programs. That's 100% true. It would be good to have budget and salary transparency in volleyball. It would be good for the media. It would be good for the business. It would be good for everything. So maybe we can work.
The only people who wouldn't like it is teams like Resovia and Piacenza, the team that spend a lot and don't win. Who
underperform badly with big budget.
The Dallas Cowboys of volleyball.
Yep. I really want budget ratio to be a thing in volleyball. Like at the end of the year, pick the top 5 like budgetary upsets of the year, where like a more poor team upsets a more rich team, and the ratio of that, I really want to see. That would just be really interesting for storytelling. Resovia is, I think the term dumpster fire might apply. It's bad, dude. It's I think it's a dumpster fire at this point. I was willing to give them grace through how many matches have they played? 13 matches, 2 more to the midpoint of the year, and they still haven't figured it out. Like they've gotten the latitude. They don't get it from me anymore. Everett's running away. Bye, buddy. All right.
I'm just responding to someone in the chat.
Oh, is that your Brazilian jersey?
Yeah. But apparently Botafogo just won the league. So
with due respect to our Brazilian friends and soccer fans around the world, that sport sucks and I don't care. I would go to a game though if I had the opportunity. I would go in person. You would change your mind. No, I wouldn't. It blows the NFL out of the water in terms of in-game experience. No doubt about it. Maybe experience, but not what's happening on the field. What's happening on the field is... what do you mean? There's actual action the entire time. You go to an NFL game for 3 hours and the ball's in play for 10 minutes. Instead of 90 minutes of the ball being in play and the game ending 0-0 and then choosing not to break the tie, get out of here. I'm done with this conversation. Polish volleyball. The Robin Hood, Everett. Robin Hood is back in a big way, and it's not in a good way this time. Norwid Częstochowa drops a 5-setter to Kuprum Gorzów. Breaks a win streak. They are donating points to inferior teams, and Kuprum is good. They've been a nice story, Chizoba in particular, but they're not nearly as complete and as well-rounded and just generally good as Norwid has shown to be so far this season. I don't know, maybe the streak just had to run out at some point, but I thought that this was a match that Norwid probably should have won. Yeah, I agree. I felt that as well. They were up by a lot in the second and let it go away. It just seemed like this is like Norwid is, and I think you see that sometimes, like where teams will like be playing above themselves and they'll kind of like realize what they're doing and fumble up. Yeah. Like it's like a kid who starts winning a race and he's going hard and he finally looks up and sees the finish line and he sees that he's winning a race and trips over his own feet and falls on his face. That's one that this one kind of got. I do think that this roster has some limits to it. Like Bartolomei Lipinski was not great and I thought was a liability. He's statistically one of the worst passers in the league out there for them night in, night out. So that's always tough. Abadapor was all right offensively, but wasn't that efficient. And the same thing with Patrick Indra. Like he went for 20 for 40, but he also got blocked. He also made 7 errors. Yeah, he was bad in the fifth as well. Like that was the key. I turned this game on, I think midway through the third, and Norwid was not good in the fifth set at all. I mean, Robert Tott, of all people, the old Estonian guy, had 2 one-on-one shutdown blocks in a row on Indra in the fifth. And then Chizoba, who started off like a little slow, came back in off the bench in the fifth and was automatic. So his numbers on the match are nothing special because he sat for a while, but he came back in and delivered when the team needed him. So good for Kuprum. They had a nice finish there. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good assessment on the Norvid thing, and definitely a good analogy of a kid who's running and he looks over his shoulder, realizes he's in first, and or Norvid wasn't in first, obviously, but you realize where you're at in the race and just how well you're running, and it makes you more likely to trip over your shoelaces.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, too, like Coupram served the ball really well. 10 aces, only 19 errors compared to 4 aces and 20 errors on the Czestochowa side, just putting that pressure on.
15 is outstanding, especially in a 5-setter.
And then I just too think that like people are starting to catch up with the fact that Patrick Indra is really good, and you know, like we didn't really expect him to be that good this year, and they're kind of catching up to the fact that Quinn Isaacson is really good as well and knows how to run an offense. So you know, they're not coming in under the radar as much either, as they're going for 5 in a row though. But ultimately,
good point.
You know,
a good reminder of how important and how prevalent scouting is in volleyball and in European club volleyball. Like once 10 matches in Poland's case, 13 matches into the season, you really are able to understand who teams are and game plan for them better than you could in the first part of the year. So that does matter.
And also,
sure.
I mean, you also can't game plan for Robert Tott being automatic in the later in the match like this, right?
That's magic, baby. That's what sometimes unexplainable shit happens.
Sometimes all you got to do is struggle to get yourself into a 5th set, and you know what? They like Gorjov did a really good job of saving that 2nd set and not going down 0-2, because I think they were down like 18-13 at one point or something like that. Like there was a point where I had turned this match off, or I had not off, but I had like turned my attention away from it because I was like, oh, like Norvid is running away with this, and ended up not being able to.
Yep. Good job, Coupram. They do, though, still sit in 9th in the standings. It's crazy. So Coupram's 8-5. I don't have the standings to put on the show, unfortunately, but Coupram's 8-5. Resovia is 6-7, and Resovia is 2 points ahead of Coupram. That's all the
because
losses.
Resovia has lost 5 matches in 5, and Coupram has won 5 matches in 5.
There it is. The magic of the 5-setter.
Yeah.
I have nothing else from the PlusLiga this week. All the really good teams like JW, Warszawa, Zawiercie all won. Zaksa won. Skrabi, Katowice, whatever. And I think we covered everything else. Yeah,
I think so too.
Cool. What's coming up next in Poland? Let me look at this week's schedule really quick.
Warszawa against Skra on Thursday, which will be nice. Katowice, Suwałki, Zawiercie, Nysa, whatever. Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon.
2 good ones.
Morning. Yeah, 2 good ones. Oh, damn. Resovia against Zaksa, and then Lublin against JW on Saturday.
Love Lublin versus JW.
Yeah,
I've got Lublin in that one, even though it's on the road. I think the bounce back for them is very important after a letdown on the road.
This Zaksa or Resovia one is interesting too, because Kurek started to come back and started to get a little bit healthy, and that Zaksa team has actually looked pretty decent. So I'm very interested to see what Gianni's going to continue to do.
There's a lot of roster relationship between those teams too, like a lot of former Zaksa guys on Resovia, Bednor, Zatorsky, Coach Shemelvo, obviously. And then there's some rumors about, let's say rumors about one of Zaksa's very important players going to Resovia next year, which I've heard. So some good ball in the PlusLiga on Saturday, and then some slightly sleepier games on Sunday and Monday. Norford versus Gdansk on Monday is okay. That's a decent game.
Yeah, for sure. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Can we potentially? We'll have to see if we're able to do a show next week, as I'm thinking about
Doha.
Sunday.
We will see.
I'll be in the Middle East.
I cannot wait to hear your experiences about that. I've something tells me that some of your experiences on that will have to be told off the record.
I don't know. I don't think so though, because like I get in on Monday afternoon, Tuesday like we have a full production day to get ready, and like the event starts on Wednesday, although the matches don't start till 1 p.m. for the Beach Pro Tour finals, which is amazing.
That is
usually
nice.
they usually start at like 8 or 9. So if they start at 1, that means I could get to the venue at like 11:30, and way easier to do anything on that front.
It's gonna be a lot of time zone figuring out to do if we're gonna pull off a show. So we'll let you all know how that's going.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not. not the end of the world if we miss one. That's okay.
My goal is to like somehow do one from the air. Like I want to be able to sometime like buy the most expensive Wi-Fi they have and do one from the plane.
That would be outrageous.
That would be sick.
If telecommunications exists that allowed you to do a show from the plane.
Bro, they do fucking live streams from the moon or from the space station, like
if you've stumbled upon resources like that, then we need to have a conversation about what to do with it. All right. What's going on right now as of today is Women's Champions League, Everett. I was excited about this week because there are a couple good games. Unfortunately, one of the good games is Malonza versus Vakif Bank, and that game is tomorrow. So we didn't get to watch that today. Other than that, dude,
chalk.
It's so boring.
So boring.
This whole competition is so boring. I can't handle it.
I tried watching some of it today. I watched Zajabaja versus Paris St. Cloud yesterday, and Zajabaja looked horrendous. They were so bad. They didn't even play Tijana Boskovic, and they played like trash, and they still won 3-0 on the road. So interestingly enough, there was I read this article on the PlusLiga website where they talked about Champions League and about how basically like the Polish teams, especially on the men's side, aren't getting pushed, and they've like only lost one set. And then they started talking about how they wanted to maybe adopt a model similar to the EuroLeague, which I don't know if you know this, but the EuroLeague is a closed league. They essentially,
soccer,
no, EuroLeague is basketball.
Oh, okay.
Champions League is soccer. Get it together here, Rob. Come on, just figure out your European sports.
I don't want to do that.
And I don't know how I would feel for a closed off league.
What do you mean by closed off league?
So it's like every year they have the same 10 teams. And it's not even like you have two guarantees from it, like Italy, two from this, two from this. It is like these specific clubs are going to be in the EuroLeague.
I don't agree with that at all. I don't think that would work at all for volleyball.
No, I fully agree with that. But yeah, something has to be done because the Champions League is a snooze fest, and watching it is a disaster.
Dude, it sucks. It's like the only thing that was competitive, and the chat's bringing it up, is that Rzeszów from Poland was actually legitimately really competitive against Corneliano today. They probably Rzeszów won the third set, and they probably should have won the first. So, like as I was following along with it, kind of in the background, like they were up a lot of the time, and Corneliano came back and stole it at 30-28. There is just nothing at all that's even a little bit interesting. The divide, and we talked about it a few weeks ago, on the women's side, the divide between the 3 teams from Turkey and the 3 teams from Italy and everybody else is significant. It's really significant, and it creates for so many of these pool play games that are just boring, unwatchable 3-dongs. And I'm really worried about the World Championship next year that we're going to talk about in a bit becoming the same thing. Because we expanded it. Well, it's already been that, but we added 8 more terrible teams to the field.
Oh, it is. The World Championships is going to be.
Well, let's save it because I want to talk about it.
What I wanted to say is way too inappropriate for me.
Wow. Well, we'll talk about the World Championship in a bit. Women's Champions League. There were 6 matches that have happened this week. I will be watching, or I might be in the car tomorrow driving for Thanksgiving, but I will be trying to watch Malonza versus Vakif Bank. Every other match is a snooze fest. I don't even feel. Normally, I would feel bad about not caring about a major event like Champions League, but I don't feel bad. There's nothing for me to care about. There's nothing for me to get interested in. Just dongs across the board. Or matches between two, like tomorrow. There are some terrible matches between terrible teams that I just don't care about. I don't care about watching them. It's not a good competition until the round of 8, when you have actual good teams playing against each other. Something needs to be done. I don't even need to talk about any of the specific matches. Do you?
No, I mean, I didn't really watch many of them today. I was very, very busy. So I know I was chirped earlier in the year for talking about matches that I didn't watch. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna do that.
Well, I don't feel bad about my thoughts on
I
this year's
will say
Champions League
though
game.
that I did see the Zhezhov jerseys. Ooh, they're nice.
Are they sweet?
Yeah, they're really nice. I actually really like them.
Uniform karma is real.
Yeah.
All right, people are saying that Lethal Barbie played well today, so I guess I can at least look at that stat sheet. Let's see. Wow, yeah. Agnieszka Korneluk, 18, 12 for 22 attacking, 5 blocks. Nice. Good for Lethal Barbie. We love her.
I'm seeing here that she had 6 blocks off the Toron Liga website.
I use CEV stats for CEV games. I don't know about you, but yeah, good match regardless. Hawk had 28, which is ridiculous. 24 for 51.
Yeah,
and 6 blocks for Marina Lubian in the middle for Corneliano. All right, that is our statistical analysis for Women's Champions League. That's it. Okay, I do want to talk about Men's World Championship first. There was a series of good games in Japan over the weekend. Osaka Blue Tian, Laurent Tillie's team, they got the weekend off. So the best matchup by far on paper was J-Tech versus Suntory. So this is like TJ DeFalco, Lucarelli, Mia Urasakita versus like Mazursky, Ran Takahashi. I think Schlivka played a little bit, and they split the games. The Sunbirds won on Saturday night 3-1. Stings won on Sunday 3-1. I haven't dug into these stats yet, Everett. Did you notice anything here?
No, not too much. It's just like this J-Tech team is so hot and cold. When they're together, man, and like they know how to roll. They're a little erratic, I would say, especially with like Lucarelli, because like it's Lucarelli into Falco right on their left side,
Right.
and they're just a little all over the place. I mean, there's that one clip right now going viral of Sakita's one-hand dish to Falco. That's pretty nuts, and it's just like watching them play each other is pretty crazy. Play with to each other is pretty crazy. But yeah, like this Suntory team has really struggled this year, so I'm not really all that surprised. I actually thought the J-Tech was going to be able to take this 2-0.
I would have thought so too, except that Lucarelli didn't play in match 1. So that definitely helped. TJ 17.
Oh, actually, I do remember that.
Yeah,
that's the one thing about doing these Wednesday shows is that I look at these stat sheets on Sunday, and then I forget about it. I need to make better notes.
Start making our notes document earlier. Muzerski, awesome for Suntory in game 1. Ron Takahashi, not good at all. 5 for 17, 3 errors. That's tough. Schlivka looks like went 6 for 6 in limited action, so good for him. But he's not really playing full-time minutes yet.
Once he did in the second match, he played all 4 sets. Ran did come on off the bench and was a little bit better in the second match too. He was 6 for 11. Schlivka was. Oh wait, sorry, no.
Yeah, I'm seeing game 2. Schlivka 10 for 18, which is nice. Ran 13 for 24.
Stat sheets,
it's bad,
and everything else. No, it's bad, but it's flipped.
Yeah, it's backwards.
I'm not used to having attacks on the left, so I'm looking at the reception columns as if there's attacks.
Yeah, it's a confusing stat sheet, especially when run through Google Translate. Sorry, we're doing our best over here.
Can we just get Volley Station design stat sheets
for everybody,
for everyone?
I have so many thoughts on this.
Oh man.
Yeah, there's a lot that we could do with unifying statistics. Kento Miura, super good in game 2, 23 for 40, which is awesome with a block and 3 aces. So what's that? 27 points total in 4 sets. Nice match for him. And Lucarelli didn't play game 2 either. So J-Tech gets at least one 3-point win over a decent team without one of their starting left sides. But other than that, that was really all I saw in Japan this weekend. There were a lot of other like mid-level teams beating up on lower-level teams. And then Osaka was off, like I said.
Yeah, Osaka was off. And actually, they also named the All-Star team for All-Star teams for the All-Star game in Japan.
Oh, they do an All-Star game? Sweet.
Yeah.
I love All-Star games. Volleyball needs way more of them.
DeFalco was named to the team. Thomas Jayski was not. Neither was Miguel Lopez.
Huh?
Yeah.
What other outside hitters could they have possibly put in there?
So even in like they like made a post and like the SV League like posted it and Jayski full out asked and he was like, "Where is Miguel Lopez?" And Lopez is leading the league in hitting percentage.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, me neither. Speaking of really good stats in the SV League, though, would you have thought that TJ DeFalco was one of the best blockers and the best left side blocker in the V League, in the SV League?
That does not surprise me at all. I think that the Japanese league is absolutely made for his style of blocking. Super dynamic moves that take away space, that confuse attackers. And when most of the opposites he's blocking against aren't hitting the ball over him, with like really only the exception of Mazursky and maybe guys like Shawan and Namir on a really good day, I expect him to touch a lot of balls and to stuff block a lot of balls. Like that's why I really liked watching last weekend him play against Nishida, because Nishida is like a dream matchup for TJ as a blocker. It doesn't have to go that high; he can go as far over as he can and make dynamic one-handed moves in either direction. And I think he stuff blocked a bunch of balls in those games, so I'm not surprised at all. I've always loved his blocking game.
Here's a random thought that I just had, Rob. What if volleyball had height classes? And in the same way that like fighting sports have weight classes, should volleyball have height classes? Like, should we have a 6'5" and under volleyball league?
We actually in Chicago there is a real under.
like a real league. Like that's what I'm saying, is that should we have multiple leagues at different heights? Like, should we have an open division and then have like a 6'5" and under, a 6 foot and under, then like a 5'5" and under, like a 5'10" and under one?
That's cute, but no, it would just end up being like Russia and Italy are the open division and Japan is the small division because they're just shorter. Like I don't see that creating more compelling volleyball unless you lowered the net accordingly. Then it would get ridiculous.
No, don't lower the net.
Yeah, so I cute idea. I don't know about the product. I'm looking at the list of SV League or All Stars, by the way, and it looks like they're at least partially fan voted. So that would explain it, because like Ran Takahashi, Masahiro Yanagita, Yasuto Mizumachi, who I've never heard of, and then TJ DeFalco. Like those are the top 4 outside hitters. And Miguel Lopez is not even in the top 10 as far as fan voting. So I have no idea. I have no idea. I hope it you know what? I'm not even going to say it. There's no point. I hope that I hope that the fan base is not being prejudiced in their voting in any way. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, you wanted to use a different word there.
Yes, I did.
You wanted to use a different word.
I might have. Yeah, this fan voting is all a bunch of nonsense. I don't like any of it, and I don't know why you would ever allow all, like, sure, fan voting for a small portion of your all-star game is cute and is good fan engagement. For all of it, it turns it into a popularity contest and takes away any of the meaning of being named to the team. So I disagree with that.
Yeah, but that's Japanese volleyball in a nutshell.
Whatever, man. Whatever they want to do. Their league's coming along. They've still got a lot of work to do in a lot of areas, and maybe that's one of them. All right. Last but not least for the show, I wanted to touch on this because the schedule came out for the 2025 Men's World Championship. So now we know exactly who's playing who and when. And I'm sure that the women's schedule in Thailand will come out in the near future. I was just interested in a couple aspects of the format of this tournament. It's going down in the Philippines. Mostly the fact that there's only 2 venues. I was really surprised that there's only 2 venues in Manila. One is the Mall of Asia Arena that's held VNL the last couple of years. The other is the Araneta Coliseum. that
Interesting.
I'm sure is perfectly capable. But during pool play, which is, I think, how many days would that be? 7 or 8 days. I think 8 days. There's 8 matches going on per day, 4 per site. That's a lot. That's a lot of volleyball. And the fact of the matter is there's going to be so many 3-dongs in pool play of this World Championship. I mean, look at these pools. Look at these pools. The first match of the tournament, the featured match on Friday night, standalone match, is Tunisia versus the Philippines.
Hey, you know what? That one will be competitive, though. Well, anyone who likes
I
watching
think Tunisia wins 3-0.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
Pool A, Iran, who's a dumpster fire, Egypt, Tunisia, and the Philippines is a travesty of a pool in a world championship.
Like, if Philippines gets over 20 points, your country should celebrate.
They will, and they have awesome fans who know ball. So
that's my favorite. That's my favorite comeback right now on TikTok, when someone would be like, "I want to watch Mar fail at the World Championships," and I was like, "I want to see if Philippines scores 8 points." So, suck it. Yeah, I mean, speaking of having like crazy volleyball culture, I was watching the beach tournament there starting tomorrow or in the morning or now, or I don't know. Time zones are weird. And there's the English pair was posted a video of them just playing pickup volleyball in the streets with like a bunch of children.
Love it.
It's so nuts.
Great.
But yeah,
it's great volleyball culture. I really hope to be there, but I will not waste my time being there and for all these terrible pool play games, dude.
The first matches that you see when you pull up the website is Philippines, Tunisia, USA, Colombia, and Canada, Libya.
Oh my God.
Like,
y'all, whose idea was it? So Everett, I'll go on this rant because you don't have to. I'm not employed by Volleyball World yet. Yeah. Whose idea was it? Whose idea was it to double the frequency of this tournament and to add 8 terrible teams? Whose idea was it, and what was your goal? This event will suck until the last 4 days.
Yeah.
These pools are a joke. I'm
trying to find some good matchups here. Germany, Bulgaria, Japan, Turkey could be decent. Cuba, Portugal, maybe. Germany, Bulgaria, that pool E might actually be a little bit interesting. I mean, who knows? Maybe Vicente Villalobos Paraguay will go off for Chile and pull an upset somewhere. Argentina, Finland might be good. Serbia, Czechia, that one. Okay, that one will be all right.
Canada, Turkey, and the resulting trash talk between you and
Italy, Algeria. Nope.
Oh my God. Oh no.
Japan, Canada will actually be good, I think.
I mean, yeah, you'll get a couple good games in the last day of pool play. Depends on what athletes are there. Depends on who's coaching. Canada's in, for an example, but this is the least I've ever been excited about a world championship, because you devalued the tournament by so much by doubling its frequency and by adding all these laughingstock teams. You have devalued this tournament. It sucks, and it's bad for everyone, especially the FIVB and Volleyball World business.
You know what? Maybe because I think we all know why these other teams are in. Maybe you want 2 world championships.
Okay.
Maybe there's a tier 1 and a tier 2 world championship.
Okay. I'm
right?
on board with this, the way the World League used to work.
Yeah, because when you think about it, any of the teams in any of these lesser teams, if you kept them in teams, and maybe you have the other world championships, right? Hey, we're fixing Volleyball World's problems here. Maybe you have that other world championships earlier in the summer, at the same time as a VNL, and the top 2 teams get a bid, or a certain amount of teams get a bid into the actual world championships with the real teams.
I like that. What I would do is, so that there's 32 teams now, which is just way too many. Take the top what would it be? Take the top 20, right? So the top 20, the tournament used to be 24. Like there are 20 pretty good teams in the world on both sides. Take the top 20, then take those remaining 12, and earlier in the summer, make them play each other for the last 4 spots. I can deal with 4 bad teams, especially when they've earned their way in, but like 10 or 12 bad teams.
But yeah, like I don't.
Qatar is a 3 seed. Enough said. Everett's running away out of the frame. Dude, Qatar is a 3 seed. What are we doing? What are we doing?
You know what? They've been making good advances, Rob.
What kind of advances? Oh my God.
I don't know. I'm going to be there next week. I'll tell you. Go check it out. Maybe I'll see Nick Hogan action.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot he was there.
He's playing there.
But yeah, no, like that'd be cool.
Yeah, well, hopefully he comes or something.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing is that like when I'm there working, it's like I wake up, I work, and I go to bed.
Yep.
And usually, sometimes we at the end of the night, as we're working, we have a few drinky poos. But I don't think you're allowed to have drinky poos in Qatar. So I don't know what my mental health is going to be like in Qatar. That'll be a serious question mark for me. Because apparently it's last year when they were there, it was also 50 degrees Celsius.
50 degrees Celsius? My goodness.
Yeah. So I will literally melt. I'm going to be the wicked witch of the East and West. I don't know which one is
Toronto boy
Linda.
Going to 50 C in December. Yikes. The last thing I this point in the chat, I wasn't going to bring this up because we don't really know the answer, but Taylor Sander did post on Instagram that he's making some kind of return to indoor volleyball. We don't know the answer of where.
Indonesia.
We know that?
It's placid everywhere. Like look at the comment section on the thing I posted from Volleyball World USA. Everyone's saying Indonesia.
Okay,
which makes perfect sense because he's definitely not going to a legitimate league.
No, no,
like no legitimate
for some reasons.
No.
But it also, like, it makes sense if he's going to stick with beach and it's the beach off season, then he can go somewhere dumb like Indonesia and make a little buck on a contract. Fine, fair enough. That is what the Discord was suspecting, is that it would be somewhere Mickey Mouse, and it is.
The Instagram and Twitter world is saying Indonesia.
That I totally believe that. That totally makes sense.
And then I have people like DMing me. They're being like, "Bro, you said he was coming back. He's going to Indonesia." And I'm like, "Wow, I never said anything. I just said yo."
Taylor himself posted it. Then we didn't.
Yeah.
Nobody's was speculating anything and things that were posted by official sources.
Yeah, absolutely. Am I excited to see Taylor Sander back in the indoor game? Sure. Do we think he's going to play for the indoor national team?
No,
absolutely not.
No, I don't. And he's one of my favorite indoor players of all time, but no, not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. I
think that's it, boys and girls.
We may not have a show next week.
Yeah, we will see.
We will see. But if you want to watch me for some reason, then you can head over to Beach Volleyball World and watch me win fantasy again.
Are you going to do fantasy again? I hope so.
Yeah, we're doing fantasy. The players really loved it.
Cool. I'm happy they did.
Like the players were really on board with it, which we really loved. Like I had Toma Capogrosso from Argentina on my team, and like after he won the semis, he's like, "I got you a bunch of digs, I got you a bunch of points," and like one of the Bayo brothers talked about it in their post game interview, like on the stream, where he was just like, "Yeah, like a block is 3 points and all that stuff." So it was really cool to see the players get involved with it, and I was trying, because we had a production meeting, and like if we had more time, I was almost going to say like we should make T-shirts, like we should have like a team Everett and like give them all T-shirts and like
that's an amazing idea for next time. Idea for next time.
But But yeah,
So
so
that's what Everett will be up to. We will keep you updated on if we're going to be able to pull off a show or not. Make sure you join the Volleyball Source Discord. The link is in the video description. And happy Thanksgiving to all my fellow Americans, and just to
go
all
eat some
of
mashed
you.
potatoes. Everyone in the
but the rest of you
Discord,
can.
everyone in the Discord, and everyone, if you're listening, I want you to DM a picture of mashed potatoes to Rob. I want you to DM Rob mashed potatoes, and I also want you to comment mashed potatoes in the chat underneath. Okay. Yeah, I want Rob to have to turn off the Discord notifications tomorrow because he's getting too many pictures of mashed potatoes. So if you're watching this and you have mashed potatoes tomorrow, I expect to see it in the Discord with Rob tagged specifically every single time.
I will have my retribution if you all do this. I will have my retribution. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Everett, safe travels to Doha. We will talk to you guys when we talk to you.
Safe travels to Detroit tomorrow.
Preach. Go Pack, go.
Bra.